Hello, everyone. We'll give it a few minutes just for everyone else to get logged on. Hope you're doing well this evening. Hello. We're giving it a few more moments just for everyone to get logged on. Thanks for being here tonight. Again, we'll start in just a few moments, give everyone a chance to log on, get everything situated. Hope your day has been going well. Excited for you to join us tonight. We'll get started in about 1 minute. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here with us today. Really glad you're able to join us. The presentation today will be about 20 minutes, hopefully right around there, really designed to give you an overview about Whitworth University. There'll be time at the end for any questions you have. If you have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to type in the Q&A. I'll be able to see those all at the end and we can answer them anywhere down. So down at the bottom, the Q&A button, that's going to be the best bet to be able to get your questions answered. If they're in the chat, I might not see them. So any questions you have, definitely put them in the Q&A and we'll get to those at the end. And I'll also give you information about how to contact us too if you think of things later that you have any questions about that you weren't able to ask this evening. We don't want this to be the last contact with you. It's really just a starting spot. So again, thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is Abigail Hopkins. I'm an admissions counselor here at Whitworth. I'm also a Whitworth alum. Loved my time, studied marketing and speech communication. Yeah, really enjoyed Whitworth. Wonderful professors, made great friends. So much so that I wanted to come back and work here. So big fan. But I'll go ahead and share my screen now and we can get started. So Whitworth is a private liberal arts Christian university. We're located in Spokane, Washington. I'll talk more about each of those things as we go through, but that's just a really quick overview. So our mission is to provide our diverse student body an education of mind and heart, equipping graduates to honor God, follow Christ, and serve humanity. And I love our mission because you see how it ties into everything we do here at Whitworth. I really hope you get a chance to visit campus and see how that plays into who we are. And hopefully you get a taste of that too throughout this presentation. Here are some of the quick numbers about Whitworth. So we're a smaller school. We have about 2,200 undergraduate students with an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which means that you get a lot of hands-on experience with your professors. Professors really want to get to know you. They want to know what you're passionate about, who you are outside of school, and they're great resources. So I would go to professors' office hours all the time to get help with homework or ask them questions about their life or how they ended up at Whitworth. And a lot of my professors are my mentors still after I've graduated. So Whitworth's professors are one of my absolute favorite things about the school. 90% of our classes have less than 30 students. So it's a pretty similar size to high school classroom setting, which is great if you want to feel known in your classroom and be comfortable asking questions and know the other students. That class size is pretty amazing. And that does start your first year at Whitworth. So you don't have to wait until you get into your upper division classes to have those small classes. Some of your very first classes will be with high school size rooms. And we are #1 for undergraduate teaching in the West. So that means no matter what program you're studying, our professors are experts in their field, winning awards nationally, and really good at what they do. And their primary job is to teach and serve students. So you are the focal point of your education. This is our incoming class profile for students who just started this past fall. We look at the middle 50% at Whitworth because we know an average doesn't necessarily represent a class well. So you can see our GPA is between a 3.53 and a 4.02. We do weight GPA. So a lot of public schools won't look at a weighted GPA. They'll just give you a standard 4.0 rating. When you apply to Whitworth, we will actually look at your honors classes, your AP classes, IB, college and the high school, and weight those on a 4.5 scale, and those will typically boost your GPA. So we encourage students to be taking those advanced classes. It helps prepare you for college, and it also helps us get a feel for if you're going to be successful. And then we like to reward you for doing that with the boosted GPA, which plays into scholarships, which you'll see a little bit later on. You can see our SAT and ACT scores there. We do not require students to submit test scores for their application. There are a few exceptions to that, but by and large, students do not need to worry about submitting test scores. We are test optional. If you choose to submit test scores with your application, we will definitely look at them and review them, but we really want that to be up to you. If you feel like your test scores represent you well as a student, then by all means, go ahead and submit them, but we will not dock your application if you don't submit them, if that makes sense. And we do super score. So some students will take the SAT or ACT multiple times, and they might get a higher score in math in one and reading in the other. Like, darn it, now I have to take it a third time. You don't. We'll actually combine your best scores for that super score. Whitworth offers over 100 different majors and programs. I unfortunately can't see what you guys are all interested in today. Some of our larger programs include business, education, psychology, health science, pre-med, engineering. We really have the whole gamut at Whitworth. So we are a liberal arts university, which means that you'll get to take classes in lots of different fields, no matter what you end up majoring in. Which I loved that part of the education. I feel like some of my very favorite classes were classes that actually weren't for my major. So like my science classes and my English, I took a pottery class. I'd never taken any sort of art class before and absolutely loved it. I would go in after I finished my homework in the evenings and just get to work on a pottery wheel. It was a great stress outlet. And I loved it so much that now I work in a pottery studio in my free time. So there's so many things you can explore at Whitworth, and we really encourage students to pursue anything they're passionate about. Our students get lots of experiential learning opportunities, which basically means they can participate in learning experiences outside the classroom. So this includes internships and research and study abroad trips and service learning. So you can see there 74% of our students participate in credit-bearing experiential learning opportunities, which basically is all those things I just mentioned. So where students are getting credit for participating in learning experiences outside the classroom. Almost half our students will study abroad by the time they graduate. We go to over 60 different countries, and we try to make it really accessible for students to be able to participate in these programs if they want to. One of the ways we do that is called Jan Term, and it's basically a mini semester during the month of January where students can go abroad for a 3-week period. They get credit for the class, so you're not missing out on credits you would be having if you were on campus, and you get to experience another culture without committing to that full semester trip. We do offer full semester study abroad programs as well, particularly if students are studying a language. And then 100% of our students participate in service learning. So we're located in Spokane, and our community gives a lot to our school. And so we really try to give back as much as we can. We actually have something called Community Building Day that happens every fall, where we pause classes in the morning so that students can go out into the community and serve in different capacities. And it's honestly one of the most fun days of the year. Every year I did that, I went to a state park and like helped clear trails. So that was one example. Some students would go to nursing homes or elementary schools. There's lots of different ways you can participate during that day. And then our honors program is a program that students can participate in if they're admitted to Whitworth with honors. It functions essentially like a minor, where students are getting 16 to 18 credits that are honors specific credits. A lot of these credits count for students' major already. So they're not taking additional courses, but rather taking the honors section of courses they would have already needed for their major. And really what we're encouraging students to do is dive in deeper to whatever they're passionate about. So you'll work with your advisor to find out what those things are and really arrange your classes to fit that. So you get hands-on experience deeper within whatever field you're interested in. Whitworth has great student life. So one of the things we really care about here at Whitworth is diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's actually part of our mission statement. I don't know if you remember that from the beginning, but again, it's really woven into everything we do here as a university. We're always striving to be as inclusive of a school as we can. We really want to welcome students from all different backgrounds, racial and ethnic backgrounds, political backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, diversity of thought. We love that our school is a place where you'll be with students who are similar to you and students who are really different from you. And it creates this environment where you're going to bump shoulders with people who you disagree with, and you have to learn how to have those conversations. For me, I grew so much during my time at Whitworth. Just having my worldview be challenged. I grew up knowing what I believed and feeling really solid in that. And I got to Whitworth and found out there were some people who I really liked and respected who thought very differently about the world than I did. And I started having to evaluate my worldview. And I feel like I'm such a better person for it now. Coming out the other side of that, I feel like I have a lot more cultural experience and I can communicate with people cross-culturally. And yeah, big fan of DEI at Whitworth. We are a residential school, so students live on campus their first 2 years. We have 10 different residence halls students can choose from. Part of being a residential school means that there's students on campus all the time, and there's tons of fun stuff going on. So that's part of the active student body bullet point there. We have fun intramurals, which are basically like sports teams that aren't varsity, so any students can participate in those. We have intramurals, we have clubs. There'll be sometimes like concerts on campus. We'll bring in musicians. We do fun activities. We also have varsity athletic teams, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So there's fun sporting events to go to. So much fun stuff to do. And then at Whitworth, the arts are for everyone. So if you participate in music or theater or dance and you want to continue to participate in that while you're at school, we'd love to have you participate in those programs. You can actually get scholarships for those programs even if you're not majoring or minoring. So there's some different requirements, but if that's something you're interested in, let us know. We'd love to give you more information. Oh, there's the athletics. So Whitworth is NCAA Division III, which means that we don't scholarship for athletics, but we are very competitive. So we have 21 different varsity teams. In the last 12 out of 13 years, we've won the All Sports Trophy for our division. So really across the board, our athletics are competing really at the top level, which if you're an athlete, that's amazing, because that means that most of the games you're playing in, you're winning. If you're not an athlete, like I wasn't, it means most of the games you're going to, they're winning, and it's way more fun to cheer for a winning team. So if you are interested in athletics at all at Whitworth, we'd love to get in contact with you and see if you'd be a good fit for our teams. Whitworth is a Christian university. We don't require students to be Christian to attend. All of our faculty and staff are Christian, and there'll be elements of that Christian worldview in your classes. But we really encourage students to pursue faith at their own pace. So if you're a student where faith is important to you, there are so many different opportunities for you to get involved and participate in that on campus. We have chapel twice a week. We offer life groups. We have a worship night. There's something similar to youth group or young lifestyle meetings. Within residence halls, there's Bible studies and worship nights, but all of these things are optional. So if faith is something that, you know, isn't really part of your life right now, you are not going to be required to participate in any of those things. And we really want campus to be a safe and welcoming environment for everyone. Whitworth is located in Spokane, Washington. If you haven't been to Washington State or haven't been to Spokane, we're on the eastern side of the state, kind of close to the border of Idaho. We're the second largest city in Washington. There's lots of fun stuff to do. There's restaurants and shops and concert venues. This picture here on the screen is of our downtown area. The river runs right through the center of it. It's a really gorgeous area. I love to paddleboard on this river. Not this part, there's rapids here, a little bit further north from there. But yeah, there's so much fun stuff to do. I came from a pretty small town, and Spokane was amazing. Yeah, not having to drive an hour to get to things that I was interested in doing, just having it be super close. So this downtown area is about 15 minutes from our campus. We like to say it's 15 minutes downtown and 15 minutes to your favorite hike. So really beautiful area. I'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. We're a 4-season climate. So we get snow in the winter. Spring and fall are pretty mild, about 60, 70 degrees typically. It's absolutely beautiful. All the flowers will bloom in the spring. In the fall, the trees all change color. And then, and then we have an international airport 25 minutes from campus. So there's connecting flights all over the US, and then also I believe to Canada and Mexico as well. But yeah, it makes it really easy to get in and out, get back home. If you're from out of state or even the western side of Washington, it's like a 35-minute flight to Seattle. So really close by. The 4-season climate means that it's really good for outdoor activities too. So if you like skiing or snowboarding, we actually have PE classes where we'll bus you up to the mountain. We do camping trips and biking and stand-up paddleboarding. So much fun stuff going on all the time. A little bit more into the nitty-gritty details of application and financial aid, all of that. We have a free application. You can actually apply either through our website or through the Common App. And all we'll need from you is your high school transcript. If you're a Washington State student, I strongly recommend applying through the Common App. Pretty much all Washington State schools are on the Common App this year, so that will save you a lot of time. If you're not familiar with the Common App, it's basically a website where you can apply to multiple schools through one application and send it to all those schools. So instead of filling out demographic information over and over again, you just do it one time and it goes to the schools you're interested in. If you're just looking at Whitworth, yay, or schools that aren't on the Common App, you are definitely welcome to apply through our website. It's a little bit more streamlined, but they're very similar and they're both free. And all we'll need from you in addition to that application is your high school transcript. So like I mentioned earlier, test scores are optional, but we're also writing sample and academic recommendation optional. So any of those things that you want to submit to us, we'll definitely include in your application and consider that part of the admissions process. But again, we won't dock you for not submitting those things. I like to think of your application as a pizza. So if you have a circle and you submit your application and your transcripts, your pizza has 2 slices, and we're going to be looking pretty heavily at your grades. But then if you submit a writing sample, now your pizza has 3 slices. And then if you submit test scores, now it has 4 slices, and academic recommendations, 5 slices. So we really want you to submit the things that you feel represent you best as a student and put your best foot forward. So I definitely encourage students to submit at least some of those additional pieces, but again, we do not require that. For our international students, there's going to be a little bit more documents required. So the list is here on the screen. It's also available on our website. You can see there are some more requirements. We do require a writing sample. We'll also require an English proficiency exam. If you're not a native English speaker, there's a list on our website of countries that we consider native English speaking countries. And then you still apply through the Whitworth app or the Common app. If you have any questions about that, feel free to put them in the Q&A box at the bottom, and I'm happy to get you in contact with your counselor if I can't answer them myself. You can see our first year deadlines here. The November 15th Early Action 1 deadline just passed yesterday, so really excited to start reviewing all those applications, but it's not too late. You can still apply today if you haven't already. Our Early Action 2 deadline is coming up January 15th. We are rolling admissions. So when you apply, you'll hear back within 3 weeks. So if you were to apply today, you'd still hear back within 3 weeks. We won't wait until the January 15 deadline to start reviewing those. If you were applied today, you'd hear back before Christmas, which is super exciting. You have that information going into your holiday season. The FAFSA opened up October 1st. We strongly encourage all students to fill out the FAFSA if you're eligible to. If you're not eligible to fill out the FAFSA, you're welcome to fill out the WASFA. Both of those documents allow us to give you your best possible financial aid offer. So even if you're like, I don't know if I will receive financial aid, still fill out the FAFSA. We want to be sure that all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and Whitworth has a lot of aid that we can give you as well. So even if you don't receive state aid, you can still receive internal funding from Whitworth. If you fill that out by December 15th, you'll be in our first round of financial aid offers to go out. That typically starts at the beginning of February. And then May 1 is our enrollment deposit day. So if you know that Whitworth's where you want to go, you're welcome to submit an enrollment deposit that basically says, save my seat at Whitworth. And that will put you in line for class registration and then also give you priority housing. So if those are two things that you care about, submit that enrollment deposit sooner than later. I'm talking fast. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to pop them in the Q&A. I would love to answer those things for you. Whitworth offers really good financial aid. Last year, students got $36,400 on average in scholarships and grants. So money that they're not having to pay back. And most of that money is renewable for 4 years. So yeah, you get to use that all 4 years at Whitworth. We're not going to try to decrease your aid after you've been here. 100% of our students receive financial aid, and we're actually ranked #1 for best value in the West. So really top-notch education at a great value for you. Oh, there it is, financial aid info, here we go. So there's several different types of financial aid: scholarships, grants, loans, and student employment. Those are the main 4 that you'll hear thrown around. Our next slide will talk a little bit about scholarships. So I'm going to go through grants and loans. These are the other types of aid that you're potentially able to receive. Scholarships are merit-based. So it's money that's given to you based on a particular attribute or talent that you have. So think like grades or music, that kind of thing. Grants are money that's given to you based on need. So maybe your family doesn't make that much money and college feels like it might be unattainable for you. Grants are one of the ways that we're able to fill that gap a little bit. Loans are the scary word of financial aid. That is money that you do have to pay back, but there's actually lots of different types of loans, and it can be really confusing, and we want to walk with you through that process. So when you get your financial aid offer from Whitworth, we actually set up financial aid counseling appointments where we'll walk through all the different type of money that's available to you and what that's going to look like for 4 years, and we'll help you figure out that process because it's super confusing, and we know that. And then student employment. If you want a job on campus, we offer over 1,000 different student positions, and you can apply for one of those positions and make a little money on the side while you're in school. These are some of the scholarships that are available through Whitworth. So this university scholarship there at the top, $16,000 to $30,000 taken off right off the bat. So every single student gets a university scholarship. Where you fall in that range is going to depend primarily on your GPA. So again, if you're taking those honors, AP, IB, college and the high school classes, and we weight those for you, you could potentially get a higher GPA and get a higher university scholarship. So that's one of the ways we reward you for taking those classes. When you live on campus, you get $4,000 off tuition. So that's part of our housing grant. And if you remember, we're residential school, so you're going to be living on campus your first 2 years. So you'll see that on your financial aid offer your first 2 years. And if you choose to stay on campus your junior and senior year, you would continue to see that on your financial aid. Talent participation scholarships start at $1,000. We offer talent and participation scholarships for things like theater, dance, music, speech and debate, media, if you're interested in newspaper or yearbook, also Young Life. I don't know if I said that one already, but there's a lot of different options. Again, you don't necessarily have to major or minor in these programs to receive scholarships. So maybe you play the trumpet now and you're thinking, yeah, I might do that in college. Let us know so we can send you information on how to apply for those scholarships. It might be worth it. Get a little extra money. If you're a Washington State student and you signed up for College Bound and the College Bound Scholarship in middle school, got great news for you. We accept the College Bound Scholarship at Whitworth that typically covers tuition at a public school. So that's about $12,000 that gets taken off your tuition. If you have the College Bound Scholarship and also a 3.0 weighted GPA, we guarantee full tuition covered every year you continue to qualify for College Bound. So if you're like, I don't know, that sounds kind of familiar, I don't remember if I signed up, you can check with your high school counselor and they'll be able to look that information up for you. I was a College Bound student, and that was a large part of how I was able to afford Whitworth, and so I'm a big fan of that program. Our honors scholarship weekends happen in the spring. This year we're having 2 main in-person events and then a virtual event for our international students and students who live far away from campus. These weekends are a chance for students to compete and win a full tuition scholarship. So at each weekend we give away 3 full tuition scholarships, so 9 full tuition scholarships up for grabs there. And it's a great chance to get to meet students, talk to some of the professors on campus. Students often say it's their favorite thing they do before they come to campus. So it's a really fun weekend. And then our visit scholarships. If you're a senior and you come to campus for a full visit day, we'll give you $1,000. That will come off your financial aid offer. So we really encourage you to come check us out, which actually leads into this next slide here. You can see the visit scholarship there up at the top. These are the visit events listed there are some of the different events that qualify for the visit scholarship. So why Whitworth is going to be a great option. Those are pretty much every Friday and some Mondays. At those visit days, you get to sit in on a class, you get a campus tour. We can set up meetings for you with different professors. If you want to, you can do an overnight visit where you stay in a residence hall with a current student. It's a really fun chance to get to see what it's like to be a student at Whitworth. And those other ones there are also great options. All of those qualify for the visit scholarship. And for seniors who have already been admitted when they visit, we'll also give you a travel reimbursement because we want to help you get to campus. So we'll cover part of the cost for you to get to campus. You can check on our website if you Google Whitworth travel reimbursement. You can look up how much is available to you based on your area. So next steps, we're kind of wrapping up here. Prospective students, if you haven't applied yet, you're senior this year, please apply. It's free. We try to make it as easy for you as possible. And if you have any questions about that, your admissions counselors would love to chat with you about that. If you've already applied and you're admitted, fill out the FAFSA if you haven't done that yet, and submit your enrollment deposit. As soon as you're 80% sure Whitworth's where you want to go, that enrollment deposit is fully refundable through May 1. And like I said, there's a lot of benefits to filling that out. So we encourage you to submit that as soon as you are pretty sure Whitworth's where you want to go. And then if you've already deposited, congrats. We're so excited that you're going to be with us next year. Fill out that housing preference form and then be watching for class registration appointments coming up in the spring. That's the end of my formal presentation. So I'll stop sharing my screen now and I'll see if there's any questions in the chat. But again, thank you guys so much for being here with me today. If you have any questions, pop them in that Q&A box. I'm more than happy to answer those, and I'll see if there's anything going on right now. And if you don't have questions right now, that's totally okay. You're welcome to head out. Thank you so much for being here again. And if you think of anything later, feel free to email admissions@whitworth.edu and we'll get right back to you about that. But again, yeah, thanks for being here. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Let's see if there's anything in the any questions. Doesn't look like there's anything yet. So if you're still typing, I'll hang out here for a few minutes. Give you a chance to get your thoughts in there. I'm gonna hang out for about another minute. You're still typing. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for being here with us today. If you were going to ask a question, you didn't get a chance to, again, you're totally welcome to email admissions@whitworth.edu. We'd love to chat more with you. So thank you so much for being here today. Have a great rest of your evening.